Greetings, whisky folk, and welcome to the official Dram Association Unbottling of Douglas Lang's Old Particular Strathclyde 2005 vintage, here on Drinking Out Loud. I'm your host as ever, Adam Bradshaw, and the reason we are opening this bottle today is because it is being featured in the Dram Association's March drop-in-drams. This is our premium drop-in-dram for the March tasting, so all of you lucky members who have signed up for premium already will have access to this one completely free. Come into the store, ask for your dram, and you shall receive. If you're not a premium member yet, feel free to sign up, but you won't be eligible for this one, but you can always get in line for the next one. This is super cool. This is a really interesting whiskey. I've had it before, and I'm very happy to be having it again. This was featured in a private whiskey tasting that I helped with from one of the local clubs, was it the VSMC or the Companions of the Quake? It was one of the two. Both great private local whiskey clubs. It was put on, of course, by Stacey Kyle of Lionheart Spirits, the local importer of Douglas Lang products, amongst others. And we put on a particularly special suite of whiskies, and we actually sold them there as well. And then we kept a few aside for premium subscribers. We got the exclusive in all of BC for all of those ones. This is the last one standing. We actually had a couple of bottles of some of the other special ones that we sold at our pop-up store at the Victoria Whiskey Festival, but we wanted to save this because we got a few cases of this. We've not got much left. A quick check. We've got 9 bottles left now. So there's not much of this one left now, and it's all of it in the province. And as far as I'm aware, the entire country, which is super cool. I love grain whiskey. If you want to hear me talk about why I'm presenting a grain whiskey this close to St. Patrick's Day, well, there is a reason, actually. I'm talking about the Irish superhero Aeneas Coffey, who I believe should have a movie. And if you want to learn more about that, check out my last video about Busker Irish whiskey. But I decided a Scottish whiskey was a very important part of that story as well. So here's a Scotch. And yeah, what a Scotch. Let's have a look at the label, shall we? It is one of 160 bottles finished in a refill barrel. No colouring, no chill filtration. It was distilled on November something, 2005, and bottled in November 2021. So I guess 16 years? 16 years, math. Nose, a furniture polish style, which is one of those whiskey asterisk notes. I love furniture polish. I love a bit of pledge in my whiskey. Not too much, but the right amount of pledge. In a good way. That's the asterisk but in a good way. Furniture polish style, alongside sugar-sprinkled raspberries and hard candy. On the palate, creamy and rich vanilla pods with a touch of sweet leather and spice. The finish lingers with honeyed cereal as well as brown sugar and citrus. This is 48.4, which is one of the weird ABVs that Douglas Lang likes to randomly choose. Not cask strength, but high proof. Yeah, there's a bit of information about Douglas Lang on the back, but you've probably heard me talk about Douglas Lang before. If you haven't, check out some of my older videos. Basically, they're a fantastic independent bottler. Also, distiller now, as we've got a couple of distilleries going. Funnily enough, of course, Strathclyde is an interesting distillery from them because their newest distillery is Clutha, which is Gaelic for Clyde, because it's also on the Clyde. So very, very close to this distillery, from what I understand. Let's find out what the bottle looks like, shall we? Looks just like an Old Particular bottle, but with a black label for the grain, I think. It's not usually black, is it? Oh, very nice. All black and golden cream coloured. Looks very traditional, doesn't it? Oh, particularly premium, it says at the top. Oh, I like that. Yeah, cool. Well, no time like the present. So, Strathclyde, heck of a distillery. Bit of a weird sort of random success story out of nowhere. It wasn't even designed to make whiskey, believe it or not. It was just opened in 1927 to make neutral grain spirits for gin making, and is now the most successful distillery in Glasgow, pretty much, especially grain distillery. They make wonderful single grains that used to go in a variety of blends. These days, most of it goes into Chivas, because that's the current owners. Yeah, love a grain. One of the things I love about grain is the value proposition as well. Like, this is 16 years old. It's a single cask. It's a limited run. It's high proof. It's non-chill filtered. It's non-coloured. And it's coming in at $163.39 before your discount. So after 10% off, that's, like $140 and change. That's great. Less than $10 a year, right? That's the magic number that some people are still holding on to. You don't see it very often anymore since, inflation. But yeah, that's a for me, this is one heck of a deal. It was one of the reasons I took a strong stance on it and got every bottle in the province, potentially the country. Oh, yeah. Fresh vanilla pods, but with a... Yeah, just a little hint of some kind of cleaning product. I wouldn't say necessarily furniture polish. I'm going to go more like silver polish. In the most delightful way, though. It's... It creates all kinds of questions in your brain. It's firing up the synapses as to what is happening going on here. Right? It smells like freshly crushed blueberries, right? Oh yeah, it smells like I'm making blueberry jam and I'm just like stomping the blueberries. Nutty, a little bit oily, which is interesting for a Scottish grain whiskey. The key thing I often get with grain whiskies, which was, I think it was Tom and Vi Vanderroot that always told me this one, was that sort of big sort of herbal, maybe even sort of a dill kind of a note. Definitely getting herbal, not getting dill. I'm getting more of a little bit of a mintiness, I would say, but more of like a fresh, like maybe parsley or something, fresh greens. Orchard fruit, apricot, nice, bright, light. Oh, yeah. It reminds me actually a lot of Hedonism, which is, again, one of my all-time favorite whiskies. Hedonism from Compass Box. Depending on the edition, probably has Strathclyde in it, I would assume. It's a blended grain, for those who aren't aware. Speaking of blended grains, we're getting another one soon. A blended grain that isn't a Hedonism. I'm really excited that this one's on its way to us. Again, provincial exclusive on this bottling, so keep your eye out for that. It's another independently bottled whiskey, and if you like independently bottled grain whiskey, make sure you grab yourself a ticket to the that boutique whiskey company tasting that we've got in a couple of weeks' time. Plenty of tickets available. It's going to be a blast. There's a really good old grain in there as well, which we'll be releasing for a particularly good price as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. Also, in a couple of days now, we've got the Blind Irish tasting. So that's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't got tickets for that, there's a dozen or so still available at the time of recording. Yeah, grab yourself a ticket for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, that one. Oh yeah. I'm getting a little bit of the word that I forgot in the last video. It took me ages just stumbling around the word. Yeah, it's like icing, but with almond marzipan. Getting a little marzipan touch. Nowhere near as strong as on the last one, which in fairness is fair, because the last one I made a cocktail out of it with Disaronno. Of course it's going to taste like almonds. But yeah, I'm getting a little hint of that in this in the back end of this whiskey as well. People often think grains to be more simplistic and more singular, and whilst often they are a little more singular, they can be just as complex, but in a narrower bandwidth, So, yeah, the flavours are often all more towards the light than the dark, but within that spectrum, there's still a lot of complexity. You just have to look a little harder sometimes. There's still so many different flavours. I'm getting little bits of orange blossom, the syrup, the orange blossom syrup that you can use in some kind of Middle Eastern baking. Speaking of Middle Eastern baking, you're getting that pistachio kind of note as well. Every whiskey has a whole plethora of flavours. Plethora? That's not how I pronounce it. Plethora. Flavours to be unlocked. And sometimes the key is a little janky. You have to wiggle it a little to fully unlock those flavours and figure out what you're tasting. But I guarantee you, even the most bog standard of whiskies, something like Teachers, Johnny Walker Red, Bell's, any of those, there's still huge amounts of complexity in there. Sometimes you have to just look a little bit harder. The complexity is not hitting you in the face, It's not that you're getting smoked salmon and cream cheese and, disparate flavors that go together that are very obvious. Sometimes you're getting much more narrower spectrum of flavors, but, a little bit harder to find. And that's kind of what I'm getting with this. It's complex, but simple. It's simplex, if you will. It's a blast from the past from my old mathematics days. It's a simplex algorithm. Flavor-wise, though, it peaks and drops and then sort of bounces. was saying simplex. It's more like a suplex. You know, it throws you up in the ground and then you bounce on the mat a little bit. That might be a good name for it, actually. A single grain suplex. Well, it is available right now at strathliquor.com. If you're a premium member, come in and try it. If you're not a premium member, well, you can't try it because you haven't signed up yet. Not too late to sign up for next month, but if you do like the sound of this whiskey, you can still take advantage of a 10% discount. It is a featured whiskey for all levels of Dram Association membership. So online or in store, ask for your discount and you shall receive. Great whiskey, great price. Very happy with this one. All right. Hopefully I'll see some of you in a couple of days at the Blind Irish tasting. I've got some curveballs for you for that one. If not, I'll see you all soon for the YouTube video, which will follow it. And fingers crossed, I don't know if it's going to come to fruition, but I might be getting a special guest to record that video. I'm hoping that Norm, the IT guy, will make his long-awaited return to this channel. So Norm, if you're watching, I've mentioned you now. You have to come now. All right. /var. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.